Welcome to Life on the Moose. Let's put tongue and groove up on that ceiling. If you've been around the channel, you know that on my ceilings I usually like to put blue pine shiplap. Well, this is a little different. This time I'm going to use hemlock. I have it stashed in the woodshed right now. Another thing I'm going to do different this time is I'm going to stain it first. Actually, I'm going to polyurethane it first. I'm not going to stain it at all. I'm just going to put some exterior polyurethane on there. That's why I have my old staining shirt on. So let's head over to the woodshed and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, here's my stack of hemlock right here. I also have some shorties right there leaning up against the wall. Just like I did the plywood, I bought this stuff last November. I bought this at an online auction. It was a pallet of the stuff. Some of it's a little checked. Some of it has these like burn marks on them. There's another one right over there. So I'm gonna leave those burn marks in for character. I'm gonna take a damp cloth and just wipe the dust off of these things and the bird poop and the chalk. I see it's marked up. So I'm just gonna wipe that off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this polyurethane on there. It's an oil-based exterior polyurethane. For the purpose of speed, I'm gonna go ahead and roll this on. And if I need to, I'll just back brush it, just in case. I notice sometimes when you roll the stuff on, it kind of leaves a bumpy texture. And I don't really want that. So if I have to back brush it, no big deal. Well, you probably figured out by now that it's evening. It's 6:30. I know, I'm getting a late start. Originally, I was gonna start this video tomorrow, but then I thought, I think I'll poly that stuff before I put it up. Maybe it'll be easier that way. So you just sit back and relax while I put polyurethane on this hemlock. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to quickly back brush it. Can you see that texture on there? Almost like it left little bubbles. Okay. See this? Okay, we have what's dry loaded up, ready to go. Well, let's take this over there, swing by the barn, get some tools, and get to work. Here's a close look at that hemlock, by the way. For those of you who may not know, hemlock grows, well, Western Washington is one place it grows. I think it grows in the Pacific Northwest and possibly other places. It's kind of a cousin to a Douglas fir tree. The wood isn't quite as reddish, but the grain is very similar. Hardness is similar as well. Doug fir might be a tad bit harder, and Doug fir is used more often in structural applications. You see hemlock a lot used for millwork, window trim, that sort of a thing. And the only reason I'm using it up here is because, like I mentioned, I bought it at an auction and it was cheap. So I think it'll be just fine up here. I think it'll be great up here. I have to figure out a way to nail that first board in. I'm not sure I'm gonna get my nailer up there, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to try. So end to end, 15 feet. I'm gonna start off on top and kind of divide that in half. Then I'll stagger my seams somewhere. I don't think there's gonna be a specific pattern, but I'll stagger my seams coming down this way. board is missing a piece of its tongue right here. So I'm just going to take a bead of caulk and press it in there just to fill up that gap. I don't want bugs getting in between there. Hey, it works. Another thing I'm doing differently this time, I'm going to try to nail it correctly. And by that I mean I'm going to nail it into the bottom of the tongue. That way none of the nails are going to be exposed. Not that I care much about that. Mostly I just want to try something different. I'll probably use this method when I do this on our house. When I was putting poly on these things, I thought, I think that'll be enough. Now I'm second guessing myself. I'm about 1/3 of the way finished up here. Let's just go ahead and finish that stuff up and see where we are. I just don't want to do any more than I have to. You know, in the past, I face nailed these, and I've gotten some flack for it. I admit, it doesn't take that much more time to put the nail into the tongue like you're supposed to. That way they're more or less hidden. The problem is when you put it through the tongue, getting the next board in, because that tongue then is tight to the joist, or to the rafter in this case. And sometimes that can be a problem getting the groove to fit over that tongue because it is so tight against that rafter. So overall, it's just a little bit more difficult, but not much. But I'm glad I'm doing it this way because, you know, this is really the right way to do it. 58 1/8. Holy cow, 58 1/16. I think we're close enough. What I like to do when I get about 1/3 done, or a half at the most, just measure from where you are to where you have to be. That way you can start to make slow adjustments if you have to make any at all. Right now I'm good to go. So I'm just gonna go about half again as far, and then I'll measure that again. See how this one's tight right here. Oh, little gap there. Tight down there again. I gotta draw this in. Oh, a good heavy 1/8, 3/16, something like that. Sometimes you can tap it in and it'll stay. Ooh, like that, look at that. And whatever you do, don't nail this board on. Goodness gracious. I can't believe I did. There we go. It was just stuck in there. Look at that. Good to go. Okay, time for another measurement. Any guesses? Am I going to be right on 1/8 inch off or 1/16 of an inch off? I'm going to guess 1/16. Exactly 32 and a half right there. Oh, 32 and 5/8. What the heck? 32 and 9/16. Okay. Okay, I'm about 1/8 of an inch off. Who guessed 1/8 inch? So I'm gonna have to tighten up this side right here. Just to make sure everything's nudged up there. Because right now this is my narrowest space. That's wider down there. So I'll nudge these up a skosh and won't make any difference. It'll be fine. So I think I told you early on that I didn't have long enough boards to span the whole distance. So I'm putting my seams, my joints, at random spots. What would you do? Would you put them, maybe 1/4 of the way, 1/2 of the way, 3/4 of the way, and line them up like that? Or would you do this and put them up randomly, more or less? I have tongue and groove inside this cabin here, and I seamed it up about 1/4 of the way, 1/2 the way, and 3/4 of the way, because I had long enough boards to do that. So that does look good. I guess I like things a little more coordinated and symmetrical and squared off than normal, but this is going to be great. I like this. I'm running out of the long boards, and that's okay. The long boards are kind of a pain in the butt. I don't know if you noticed that. Even when the boards are straight, because when there's just one person here, one end seems to sag, and then you got to push one end up and get on that ladder, and then get on the other ladder and push that end up. And then when you push that end in, this end comes out, vice versa. Next thing you know, you spend 15 minutes, you went up and down 7 ladders, and you got one board in. That's the nature of working by yourself, right? My pile is dwindling. I'm going to be close. Let's get back to work and find out. All right, we're on our last row. The second last one here is not nailed in. I wanted to leave that loose in case I needed to take it, bend it out so that I can get my short piece in. 2 3/4 inches. That's what we need for the remainder of this. And it's within a 1/16 of an inch, so I'm just gonna cut it all at 2 3/4 of an inch. Made some headway on that side, so looks pretty good now. I made an executive decision. This bracket right here, I am going to take the top of it where it's beveled. I'm going to cut it off square. And if I cut it off square, then I'll be able to take that last piece and run it all the way to the beam. I don't want to monkey with trying to cut out around that and at an angle and being tongue and groove. That leaves me too many options for error. So I don't like it. So I'm going to take my skill saw. I should be able to get it right up close to there, right where I need it actually. Like I said, and just cut it off square. I'm sure it'll be fine. Well, I have my remaining pieces cut to length. So now let's head over to the table saw and rip them. Okay, that turned out pretty well. I'm happy with that. It took a little bit of effort to beat that in from the sides because I couldn't scooch it up above those brackets there. I don't think I'm going to put a trim board on this side or anything. Maybe I'll run a bead of caulk, I'm not sure. I'll probably touch this whole thing up with, caulk and touch-up stain. So we're finished, right? Not quite. There's one more thing I'm going to do, and that is I want to put a little piece of trim on that edge right there. That exposed edge above me, I just don't like seeing the edges, the ends of the boards. So I'm going to take a leftover piece and I'm going to rip it, and I'm just going to cap that little piece, maybe like a 2 inches wide, something like that, and just cap that end piece right there. I think that'll look better. So let's do that quick, and then this thing will be finished. So that's how you properly install tongue and groove. What do you think? I think it turned out all right. Thank you very much for watching Life on the Moose. I appreciate it as always. Come back next week. You know what I think we're gonna do? I think we're gonna do an actual patio. We're gonna put pavers down, I believe. Don't quote me 100%, but as of now, I think we're gonna put pavers down. Probably some larger square pavers, just in case we need to get in this dirt somewhere, because there's a line running through here. I don't anticipate needing to get in there, but I don't want to pour a concrete pad and then have to get in there. We'll probably do a sand color, brown, something like that. So you haven't scheduled anything for next Friday yet, have you? Okay, good. Well, I'll plan on seeing you back here then. Okay, great. It's a plan. Until that happens, you take care of yourself. Have some fun out there. I'll see you soon.